Have you ever told yourself, this is the last time?
And then found yourself repeating that very thing the next day? Whether it's scrolling late at night, munching on a food you promised to quit, or checking your phone for hours, bad habits have a way of pulling us back in. And it's frustrating because you know what you need to do, but somehow you got distracted. Today, we're going to expose the reason bad habits are so hard to break, and more importantly, how to overcome them. But here is what most motivational gurus don't tell you. Breaking bad habits is all about understanding how your brain is wired. And once you get that, you can start working with your brain instead of constantly relying on willpower. Let's begin by exposing a few common myths about habit change. Myth number 1. You think this is a discipline problem, that if you just tried harder, held the line longer, you'd finally win. That belief is the trap, because discipline is inconsistent. Some days it shows up, some days it disappears without warning, and you already know this. Here's the uncomfortable part. Willpower lives in the part of your brain that gets tired, the part that plans, the part that hesitates, the part that burns out after stress, decisions, and long days. But habits don't live there. They live somewhere older, faster, automatic, your brain's autopilot. So every time you try to force yourself to stop, you're asking a tired system to fight one that doesn't get tired at all. On calm days, you feel in control. On heavy days, the habit doesn't even ask permission. It just runs. That's why willpower keeps losing. Not because you're broken, but because you're using the wrong weapon. This is why environment beats motivation. Every time. If the trigger stays, the habit stays. If it's visible, reachable, effortless, your brain will choose it every time. So you don't try harder. You remove access. You add friction. You redesign the default. Log out. Hide the app. Kill the notifications. Make junk invisible. Make the better option unavoidable. When the environment changes, discipline becomes optional, and that's when habits actually break. Myth number 2. You think the solution is to eliminate the habit. Cut it out. Erase it. That's mistake number 2. Because your brain doesn't understand nothing. It understands patterns and rewards. Every habit you repeat exists for a reason. Not because it's good, but because it works, at least temporarily. It fires a familiar pathway at a familiar time, in a familiar emotional state. So when you rip the habit away, the craving doesn't disappear, it waits. Your brain is still expecting relief, still expecting the signal that something has ended, still demanding the reward. This is why elimination fails. You remove the behavior, but leave the hunger untouched, and hunger always comes back stronger. Take doom scrolling after work, or binge watching at night. It's not about the screen, it's not about the content, it's about the transition. Work is over. Tension drops. The day is done. If you cut the habit without replacing the ritual, your brain feels unfinished, restless, unsettled, and eventually it reaches for the old solution. Not because you chose it, but because it's familiar. Replacement changes everything. You keep the cue, you keep the reward, but you change the behavior in between. A book, a walk, a conversation, something that still tells your brain, you're safe now, you can slow down. The habit doesn't need to disappear, it needs to be rerouted, because the goal isn't to stop the loop, it's to redirect it into something that doesn't pull you backward. That's how habits actually change. Myth number 3. Now, let's go deeper, because behind every behavior, there's an identity, and this is where most people get trapped. The identity trap. Think about the things you tell yourself. I'm just a night person. I eat to feel better. I'm bad at being consistent. These statements feel honest, but they're more than that. They're prescriptions, instructions, rules your brain follows automatically. When you tell yourself, I'm always inconsistent, you're unconsciously permitting yourself to stay inconsistent. Your brain doesn't debate. It aligns action to identity. It works to make you fit the label you give yourself. So what do you do instead? You reframe, you update your identity, you tell yourself a different story. I've gotten used to staying up late, but I'm learning to protect my sleep. I don't have no self-control. I'm practicing better decisions in the moment. It's subtle, almost invisible, but the shift is everything, because when your identity changes, your behavior starts following, and the habits you couldn't break before suddenly feel possible. Another reason bad habits survive is your brain. Not the conscious part you think is in control, the sneaky part that whispers rationalizations, cognitive distortions. Just this once. How many times have you said it? How many times has your brain convinced you that one exception doesn't matter? It's the truth. Every time you crave, you're not breaking the habit, you're reinforcing it. Teaching your brain the rule isn't absolute, making it easier the next time. Then there's all or nothing thinking. You slip up once, and the brain shouts, well, streak ruined, might as well give up. Perfectionism disguised as logic, clear categories that your brain can follow. But real habit change is messy, non-linear, and your brain hates that. False permission giving, another trick. I had a hard day, I deserve this. I'll start afresh on Monday. Everyone else is doing it. Reasonable in the moment, dangerous in the long run. The power comes when you catch it. When you hear, just this once. Pause. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me become who I want to be? That pause creates space. Space for the prefrontal cortex, for conscious control, for choice, before the habit runs on autopilot, before the brain wins again. Number 4, habit stacking. Link something new to something you already do automatically. After coffee, write your priorities. After brushing your teeth, stretch for 1 minute. You're hijacking what's automatic, turning the familiar into a trigger for change. The brain remembers better when it piggybacks on routines it already trusts. Number 5, the 15-minute rule. When a craving hits, don't act. Tell yourself, I'll wait 15 minutes. Most urges fade, intensity drops. Your rational mind finally catches up. Space opens for choice before the habit takes over. And then, setbacks. They will happen. Relapse isn't failure, it's feedback. Every slip is the brain rewiring. Every return to the new behavior strengthens the right pathway. It's the return, not the mistake, that builds resilience. Instead of shame, ask questions. What triggered it? What thoughts were active? What can I do differently next time? Even just asking puts you in a learning mindset. And that is where real change happens. Breaking bad habits isn't about moral strength. It's about understanding how your brain is wired, recognizing the identity stories you tell yourself, noticing the thought distortions that justify the behavior, and using practical tools, habit substitution, environmental tweaks, implementation plans. This is how change actually sticks. Now, let's move from theory to practice. I'm going to give you 5 science-backed strategies that will help you rewire your brain and give you a better chance at long-term habit change. Number 1, environmental design. Make the habit harder to do. Add friction. Want to stop doom scrolling? Remove the app from your home screen. Delete the app or log out so it takes longer to access. Want to break unhealthy eating habits? Store treats in a cabinet that's harder to reach. Even small changes like these can interrupt the automatic loop. Next is implementation intentions, which are specific, then plans for handling habit triggers. If I feel bored, then I'll read a book instead of checking my phone. If I'm tempted to procrastinate, then I'll work for just 5 minutes before deciding if I'm going to continue. Research shows that having these concrete plans gives your mind structure and increases follow-through. Number 3, the replacement rule. Swap the old habit for a new behavior and decide in advance what it's going to be. So, this takes some pre-planning. The replacement should satisfy the same underlying need. For example, if you stress eat for comfort, perhaps a short meditation could provide similar relief. Or if the need is self-soothing by putting something in your mouth, try sipping herbal tea while mindfully observing your environment and using all your senses. In the next video, We're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about how to be consistent and what builds consistency. But for now, here's your action step. Think about one bad habit that you've been trying to change and identify the cognitive distortion that you most often use to justify it. Is it just this once? Or is it, I'll start tomorrow? Write it down and then start noticing when it comes up. And that awareness alone helps begin to weaken its grip. Thanks for watching today. I'll see you in the next video.